Converse. My name is Fahil Ahmed Walala, most from Advanced Campus, and where's my very amazing guest name is Gab, and very amazing guest and answer and engineer. Claudio, brief introduce yourself and your journey and become NASA engineer.
So, okay, sure, I'll be happy to do that. So, I like to say good morning to you. Good evening from here. It's almost midnight here in Florida, but it's nice to have this opportunity. I know we were going to do it in the morning for me at night, but we'll do it now, and it's just a pleasure to be here. So my name is Gabe. That's a nickname. That's what my friends call me, and that's what I ask everyone to call me. I understand with your culture and sometimes age, you don't want to do that, and that's fine. You can call me anything you like, but I do prefer Gabe. So I was a civil structural engineer for NASA for 17 years, and it was the most fascinating place you ever want to go in your life. NASA is really cool at Kennedy Space Center, especially. You know, everywhere you look, every wall, every building, everywhere there's pictures of space, there's pictures of stars. You know, mind is always going to these magical places. It's just so much fun to go there. And then you see a big building, you see a ship put together, and it goes to these magical places. So it's like your imagination becomes reality. It's just so much fun to be there, and I love to share that with you. And I'm coming to Pakistan next week, so maybe I'll see you in Pakistan.
Okay, very nice. Very nice introduce. Gab, my first question is, what inspired you to propose engineering and space science?
So, you know, what really inspired me, I was in the Air Force in Cocoa Beach. So, Cocoa Beach is a city close to NASA. And I was in the Air Force in this city. And somebody I work with got this special award to see the very first space shuttle launch. Now, I don't know if you know what a space shuttle is. A space shuttle, it looks like a plane, but it's really a rocket. It's a plane that's attached to rocket ships and it goes to space like a rocket and it comes back like a plane. So we went to see the very first shuttle launch. And I remember when I saw that shuttle launch, I'd never seen anything like it. It was the most amazing thing I'd ever seen. And I said to myself, when I get out of the Air Force, I'm going to try to get a job at Kennedy Space Center and get involved in this space program.
Okay, very nice answer, Gab. My next question is, what is the most memorable project you worked on during your time at NASA?
You know, as a civil structural type of engineer, you know, you really you don't do anything really exciting. It's just like being a civil structural engineer in Pakistan or anywhere in the world. You deal with roads and bridges and the infrastructure, roofs, buildings, things like that. So it isn't so much that it's more what you do, where you do it. You know, you might be doing something like one time they said to me, "Hey, Gabe, I was kind of responsible for air conditioning systems too." So they said, "Hey, Gabe, this air conditioning system isn't working in this building. Go see what's wrong." So I went to where the air conditioning system was, and I saw it wasn't working. And I said, "Well, what does this feed? What is this for?" And they took me to a little room, and it was probably 10 meters by 10 meters by 10 meters. So it was cube, all glass. And in the bottom, they had these little cars running around. And I said, "Well, what's that?" And they said, "We're practicing driving on Mars. So we're simulating Mars, and this is, we're practicing." So things like that happened every day. It was so amazing to me to just be in that environment. And of course, the launches, there's nothing like the launches. The launches are the most amazing thing you will ever see or ever hear.
Okay, very nice answer, very beautiful answer. My next question is, what skills do you believe are essential for success in NASA level engineering?
So I don't really think of NASA as anything different. You know, whatever you do to prepare in NASA, you would prepare to do in any other environment. So I think the most of the thing, you want to be how you have confidence. It's very important to have confidence and belief in yourself in anything you do. So you want to learn to develop that confidence in yourself, and whether it be at NASA or whether it be in Lahore or anywhere in Pakistan, it's the same approach. You want to do your best. You always want to enjoy what you do, and you want to learn to believe in yourself. Once you have these things, everything else becomes easy.
Okay, nice answer. Very, very beautiful answer, Gab. My next question is how did NASA challenge your creativity and problem solving abilities?
Again, I being at NASA was a magical place. But as a civil structural engineer, I pretty much did the same thing I would do, in Pakistan or any country in the world. I say it's like being a nurse. If you're a nurse, it doesn't matter where you are, you do the same thing. So the idea is, whether it be at NASA or it be anywhere, you want to approach things the same way. You want to believe in yourself. You want to learn to feel good about yourself. And you really want to try to do your best at everything you do.
Okay, nice answer, Gab. My next question is what does a typical day at NASA look like for an engineer?
Well, so, when you say engineer, engineer is a very broad term. It can mean hundreds of different things. So, most of the time when you talk about engineer, you talk about a civil engineer, structural engineer, mechanical, electrical. These are design engineers. So, for a typical day for a design engineer, you would go into your job and you would sit down with a bunch of other engineers, all different disciplines. And together, you would design a structure that someone requested. We need this type of structure for our business. So you would get together and you would do that. My job was a little bit differently. I was involved in identifying problems with bridges, with elevators, with air conditioning systems, with roofs. I would go to all these different places on Kennedy Space Center, even all the launch pads. And anytime there was a problem with something, I would have to sit down. I use a bridge as an example. We have many bridges on Kennedy Space Center or leading to Kennedy Space Center because Florida is a peninsula and there's a lot of bodies of water within the state. So most things come by train or they come by road, and they have to go over a bridge. So if the bridge isn't working, you can't get the flight hardware to the space center. You can't launch rockets. So the bridges are important. So I might go into work and I say, hey, Gabe, the bridge isn't working. Go figure out why. So I go to the bridge tender, the person who opens and closes the bridges, and say, why isn't this working? We sit down, we try to figure out why it's not working. Well, how do we fix it? And how much does it cost? So this was a little bit differently, but they got me access to everything on Kennedy Space Center. I went to all the cool buildings. I went to everything. It was just so much fun for me. And I was outside most of the time, which I like being outside.
Okay, very, very tangent answer, Gab. Very, very beautiful answer. Gab, my next question is what was the biggest lesson you learned while working with NASA?
I think the biggest lesson you learn, no matter what you do, is to never give up, to never be disappointed, that to try to always get better. And I think you do that with everything you do. Things don't always go as expected, and that's okay. You learn the most when things don't go as expected. So if I'm at NASA or I'm anywhere else and I'm doing something, I race cars. So I have a shop. I build cars. So if I'm building a car in my shop or I'm trying to solve a problem on Kennedy Space Center, I approach it the same way. How can I make this simple? What's the easiest way to solve this? And how do I learn from what I do? Often you start to do something and you realize this isn't going as I thought. Well, that's not a failure. That's not a mistake. It's a learning process. You take that knowledge, you step back, and you try again. And you always do that. You get better and wiser. It's very, very important. You never fail. You never really, to me, should be disappointed in yourself as long as you do your best.
Okay, nice answer, Gab. Very, very beautiful answer, Gab. My next question is: can you call a moment when you felt proud to be part of NASA?
Every day, every day, every minute. I just love being part of NASA and representing NASA in a positive way. And for me, it was just so magical. Every day you would go out there and you see all of these buildings and you see spaceships being put together. You just see so many cool things every day. If you like the space program, I mean, some people may not like it, but I really liked it, and it seems like you like it as well. So I think if you were on Kennedy Space, you'd have a great time just looking around, just looking at all of the amazing things that you see. It's so much fun.
Okay, very, very beautiful answer back. My next question is: what role does teamwork play in success space mission?
Yeah, to me, teamwork, it's not, again, it's not about space, it's about everything. We very seldom do anything by ourselves. We're always involved with others. So team is really, right now, me and you, we're a team. I believe we're a team. Together, we have a common goal. You know, you want to do an interview, you can't do the interview without me. I can't do the interview without you. So we're a team right now, and we're trying to do the same thing together, which is to reach an objective. So to me, it's always about taking the time to learn about others, to listen to their views, to incorporate their views into decision making processes. And when you do that, you're always successful.
Okay, nice answer, Gab. Very beautiful answer. Gab, my next question is: how important is failure in the process of invasion?
Yeah, well, I never say failure. You never fail. You always learn. You never fail. Never think because something didn't go, I want to do this and it didn't work. You don't say, oh, I failed. Look, what did I learn in the process? It's a positive. Don't ever think of it as a negative. You learn, to me, when things don't go as well, you have to step back. You have to say, okay, why didn't that work? What can I do differently? What did I learn in this process that can apply for the next time? So you never fail, to me. You always learn, and you learn more when things don't go as expected. One of the things you learn to overcome challenges. And when you say, oh, last time I had this thing, I overcame it, I can overcome this one, and you build confidence and belief in yourself. You never fail.
Very, very interesting question. Very, very interesting answer. Gab, my next question is: what advice would you give to young people who want to work at NASA?
Well, to me, if you want to work at NASA, you have to be an American citizen. So your first challenge is, okay, if I really want to work at NASA. But I also say don't necessarily limit yourself to NASA. There was a time when NASA was your only choice. Now there's many commercial companies going to space. There's many countries going to space. But it's the same whether it be NASA or any other company. But don't try to just limit yourself to NASA when you have many other options. To work for NASA, I don't know about other countries, but NASA is a government agency of America, so you have to be an American citizen. So how do you become an American citizen? First thing you have to do, you have to get to America. The best way to do that for me is through university. America has many great programs for international students. You come to America as a university student, you stay 4 years, you finish university, then you try to stay in America, establish residency, become a citizen, apply to go to NASA. It's going to take a lot of time, but it's okay. If it's something you want to do it. I encourage everybody who wants to do it to try. You never lose anything by trying. And remember, don't limit yourself to just one thing.
Okay, very beautiful Gab answer. My next question is: how do you stay motivated during long and complex project?
Yeah. So to me, I never have a long or complex product. Everything to me is one day at a time, one step at a time. I talk about goals, and when you have a goal, you're here and you have this goal, you want to go from there to there. Well, how do you get there? You take little steps. So to me, I kind of take things one day at a time. Long or complex projects are broken down one day at a time. What do we do today? What can we learn for today to help us with tomorrow? But always one day at a time. Focus on that day as you pass through it. Do your best. Try to see what you can learn from the day and you take it to the next day. So when you do that, to me, you stay motivated every day. I have this thing. I have always try to do your best. On this interview, when I take this interview with you, to me, you're the most important thing in the world. I want to do this interview. I want to do it right. I want to make it good for you. And I want to enjoy the opportunity. And I approach everything the same way. So I never have long, complicated tasks. I have short, easy tasks. And I find I do things very well that way.
Okay, Gab, very, very nice answer, Gab. My next question is: how does NASA test the idea them that seem impossible?
Nothing is impossible. I have this belief nothing is impossible. Even if we think it's impossible today, Maybe in 100 years it won't. We don't know as technology and things evolve. We don't know what we think is impossible now. 100 years ago, they didn't think people would walk on the moon. And people have walked on the moon. So they thought that was impossible, but it is possible. And I believe anything is possible. So you have an objective, and if someone said that's impossible, well, why is it impossible? Try to find the steps to make it happen. I don't believe anything is possible. I think anything is possible.
Okay, nice answer, Gab. My next question is, how old are you?
So I get asked this a lot, and I always tell everybody I have a mental age. I don't have a physical age, I have a mental age. And my mental age is 19, 19. My mental age is I struggled. I really talk about how I struggled in school and I hated school and I really, really did poorly until I got out of high school at 18. So between 18 and 19, my whole life changed. Everything changed. And so I always want to stay in that mental 19-year-old age where everything was fun and everything was exciting. And that's how I live. And that's what I really believe. And so when people ask me how old I am, I say 19. And they kind of look at me strange. But I say, I know I look younger, but I'm really 19.
Okay, nice answer, Gab. Very, very nice. My next question is, do you think humans will live on another planet in the future?
Yeah, I believe there's life on other planets. I really do. I don't know, where this planet might be, and I don't believe anything has been to Earth from another planet. Many people do, and I don't say they're wrong, but I don't believe, if something came here from another planet, there was billions of planets in our universe. There has to be life somewhere. We can't be the only life in all of these billions of planets. So I believe it exists somewhere. But you talk about things being millions of light years away, and they're so far away we can't really comprehend them. But I believe if there was life on another planet and it had come to Earth, we would know. I don't think something would come from billions of light years away or millions of light years away, turn around and leave. I don't think that would happen. I think they would try to make contact. I think in some ways we would know. I really believe that. But I do believe it exists, but I don't believe it's been to Earth.
Okay, nice answer, Gab. My next question is, what was the most emotional moment of your NASA journey?
Oh, there were so many. For me, I think it's always, we had a space shuttle, and I don't know if I mentioned what a space shuttle. A space shuttle is a ship that looks like it's a rocket ship that looks like a plane. So when it goes to space, it's got two big rockets, and it goes to space like a rocket ship. When it comes back like a plane, and it lands on a runway, and it actually comes through the Earth's atmosphere over California in America with no engine. It's going so fast that it goes from California to Florida, 4,000 kilometers away with no engine. And the shuttle launches were really spectacular. And 7 astronauts were in those shuttles. And we had two shuttles that were destroyed during missions. One was called Challenger. It blew up going up. And the other was Columbia. It burned up coming down. And probably those were the most emotional moments just because of the loss of life and this heartbreak and the sadness attached to both of those missions. I think that was probably the most emotional problem maybe in my life.
Okay, nice answers, Gab. Very, very nice answer. Gab, my next question is, how important is creativity in engineer?
Well, I think creativity is important in everything, not just engineering. If you're not creative, I don't think you learn. I don't think you try new things. So creativity to me is very important in that you're trying to do something different. You're trying to do something new, and that's how you become creative when you do something new. But I think it's important. Everybody should try, and everybody should try to follow their own thoughts on what is creative and try to improve with everything they do.
Very, very nice answer, Gab. Gab, my last question is, my viewers is last advice.
So I always talk about three things. And one of the reasons I don't know if you know, I do these interviews. I do 5 or 6 a week. I do a lot of interviews and I really, really enjoy speaking with you. You're great. I love your enthusiasm. I love your smile. I love this opportunity to share thoughts with you. But my advice is always the same thing. Three things. Remember these three things. Do your best, enjoy what you do, believe in yourself. If you learn those three things, you'll never work, nothing will ever be hard, you'll never have stress, you'll never have pressure. You can be very successful and enjoy doing it. Doing your best is easy. With this interview, you want to do your best. Challenge yourself to do your best. Within your life, there'll be times when you have to do your best. You don't know when, you don't know where, you don't know how, but something will happen and you'll have to do your best. If you practice doing every day, when that happens, you do it easily. Do your best. Enjoy everything you do. You can do this interview and have fun doing it, or you can be miserable. Either way, you will do it. Train yourself to only find positives. If you can't find a positive, say to yourself, it could be worse. Then it becomes a positive. Never have a negative experience. And the most important thing, believe in yourself. Very few people have believed in themselves. That's why they have stress. That's why they have pressure. How do you get belief in yourself? You get belief in yourself by having dreams and turning them into goals. You take that goal, you say, okay, I'm here and I want to go there. How do I get there? You plan very small steps. Don't be in a hurry. Every time you complete a step, it will give you confidence. It will help you develop that belief in yourself. And you build and you build and you build. And one day you will say to yourself, I can do anything. When you believe you can do anything, you will never have stress. You'll never have pressure. You just believe you can do it and you do it. And when you enjoy it, it's better. So those are my advice to everyone and what I try to live by as well. Do your best, enjoy what you do, believe in yourself.
Very, very last advice, beautiful last advice. Okay, so viewers, I hope you like it. Allah Hafiz, Pakistan, Zindabad, and school Zindabad. Allah Hafiz, viewers.
Bye bye, everybody.
Bye bye.